afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you might be. I haven't said that in a long time. It's been like weeks.
It's been weeks, months.
What to say?
Months.
Yeah, I almost didn't know
Nearly
what to say.
months. Oh, the last one we did was what? In it was in July 7th. Or
Has it been that long?
It's been that long. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, maybe we did one more later.
We did that one with Corey.
Yes. And then we did one more when we're trying to do the deleter, the BTC deleter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so my memory is fuzzy because I went on holiday and now I don't remember shit.
Yeah, see, I feel like I've been gone all summer, so I'm like,
feels like it.
like, what do we?
Yeah.
What is it you say you do here? You know. So, but it's fun to be back. I'm glad we're back. We get to hang out for a little bit anyway today.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Yes.
You had a good summer so far.
So far, so good. It's been fairly decent. The weather has been good. Seattle can have its up and downs in the summer, but this summer has been fairly steady. No rain in about a month, which is great.
Really?
Yeah. Did I say that loud?
Like crazy here.
I'm just like, Seattle is awful. Don't come to Seattle. The weather is awful.
That was the joke, is why they've always brought the interns in the summer, right?
Yes.
It's because it was beautiful in Seattle in the summer. So.
Hey, first time I came to Seattle in the summer, I think it was 2016. It was stunning. The temperature was in the 80s. I was here for 7 days for Microsoft Ready, and the weather was awesome. And I was like, people are lying. That's not true about Seattle. Anyway, so the weather has been nice. We've been going to lakes and making the best out of it. And
Yeah.
now we're 2 weeks away from school starting. So that's summer over.
Schools.
We're
I
4 months
know,
away
it's
from
crazy.
2022, by the way, which is insane.
I know. I can't believe it. My kids went back to school yesterday
Mm.
with no masks because our governor said that kids can't wear masks to school or schools can't tell kids to wear masks. So that's going to be fun. So I give it maybe a week and the kids will be home. So
It was nice working with you.
or maybe they just don't care about the kids. I don't know. So
I
my
know.
wife just sent me a text that she's at Meet the Teacher for our youngest in preschool right now.
Okay. Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, he's going to
That's
preschool.
gonna be.
I,
So that means that the house will be empty in the morning
yeah,
with
it'll
no
be
one
empty.
around.
It'll be me and my wife. Just
Sorry,
looking at
empty
each
in
other.
terms of kids. That's what I meant.
Yeah, no kids for 4 hours.
Wow.
I know.
That's a
I'm kind
milestone.
of, yeah. Although she did text me and say that she met the teachers and they don't seem very fast. Like in the sense of like physically like not able to move very quickly, and we have a 3-year-old who moves very quickly, so he might get kicked out.
Well,
I don't know.
that's an advantage.
I guess it depends on who you ask, but the advantage for him. I mean, the thing is, I'm slow compared to that kid. Like, I can't keep up with him. So, what are you gonna do though?
I don't know. I don't know. Different preschool, private.
It is
We went
private.
private.
It costs
Oh,
a
it is
fortune,
private.
too. I'm like, the thing is, we're looking at this thing right, and it's it's not it's expensive to send the kid to this preschool. Like, it's expensive to go to any preschool really, except for like the state ones. But the thing is, if you take it down to like the number of kids and the price, and you get down to like a per hour cost,
Uh-huh.
it's I mean, there's just not a lot there. Like, by the time you get all the way down to like what a teacher, like, or what you could pay somebody
Mm-hmm.
to have 10 15 kids, whatever, if all 10 kids are paying the same price and blah blah blah, and they're there for 4 hours 5 days a week, all that sort of stuff, it ends up being like somewhere right around $20 an hour. So it's not like, and that's like in total, like doesn't take into account facilities and rent and all that sort of stuff. So like, I don't know, it's really not, I mean, it's kind of like, well, it may feel expensive, but at the end of the day, I don't think it actually is terribly expensive. So I don't know, whatever. I just don't want him to grow up, and he just needs to grow up to be, a decent human. The odds are stacked against him being in this family, though. I'll tell him that much right now. Poor kid. So. Well,
Oh,
we have
don't
a
be so hard on
hurricane.
yourself.
We have
Oh,
a
you
hurricane
do?
just to our west. Well, it's a tropical storm now. Fred. It's a very unassuming name for such a
It
big
is.
ball of energy.
Yeah.
But I
Friendly,
suspect it's
friendly
gonna be,
friend.
yeah, it's gonna be fairly damp here for the next few weeks, for the next few days.
Oh
Anyway.
man. Move to Seattle. We got nice weather.
Barely. We need a summer home in Seattle.
Yeah. Yes. That's a great idea. We have so many lakes, so many things to
Yeah.
do. You just need a few million, and you're done.
Yeah, that's right. A few million gets me what, like a room and
A
somebody's
garage.
and
A
somebody's-
garage.
and the apartment above it, right?
It's insane,
so
man.
expensive.
We were scanning the lakes, and we were visiting different lakes, and every time we went to a lake, so it was like, oh, we should get a house here. We should get a summer house. I said, we don't have a primary house, let alone a summer house. But yeah, let's entertain the notion and see what the prices look like. Like in some random lake in the middle of nowhere, house prices were 1.3 million for 2,000 square. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's insanity.
It is. Washington is crazy, but you know what?
That's a lot of money
It is all money.
for what sounds like not a ton of house or space, for that matter.
That's why we're getting an RV. That's the solution. A moving house.
We were talking about that over the weekend or over the summer. Was a friend of my wife's has a big RV, like one of those really big, like bus-sized RVs,
Yes.
and they take it all over the country. Like for summer, they'll go to like Colorado and Wyoming and like Montana and all these different places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun. But I was looking at them. Those things are expensive. They're like $250,000 themselves, which I guess is cheaper than a house in Seattle or a garage in Seattle. But it's still pretty pricey.
They're pricey, and they have different chassis. I mean, Zoe's been doing her research because she wanted to seriously get one. Like I said, you can get one in the lease. I was like, what am I gonna do with the car while it's not moving? You know, for like 90% of the year, it's gonna be sitting in the garage, and I'll be paying the lease for that. It makes no sense. I said, maybe when we retire.
Big enough for an RV?
No, but it will be sitting in the front of the house somewhere if we can fit it, depending on the size. It's just weird. So I said to her, like, if we were going to be gone all the time, maybe, do remote work and work from everywhere now.
There you go. You can stream from location.
I can stream from location, like our very good friend Cesar Fritz does. Jeff.
Yeah, you could just, make everybody envious. Like you can stream from like a mesa in the Grand Canyon or something.
From Yosemite. Like, wow, today we're in Yosemite on location. Behind me, you can see the bears. And while we're doing Azure AD, the bears will huddle around. The bears huddle around to see what we're doing, right?
We'll turn it into a nature show. I mean, might work out better anyway.
True.
20 years from now, they'll say, how did you guys get the idea for, such a successful, nature television? We'll be like the next David Attenboroughs. Or what's his name? Is this David?
David.
Planet Earth.
David Attenborough. Yeah.
Planet Earth 3, 425 edition. And security on Earth. Something like that. Yeah.
New name for the show.
People can laugh at us getting eaten by bears, like that Timothy Treadwell guy who was like, "Oh, the bears are my friends," and they talked to me, and then one of them ate him. Like,
you just need to treat them with respect. That's all they need.
It's a bear. I mean, it's like when that tiger ate Siegfried or Roy or whichever one it ate. It's like, well, it did what tigers do. It eats. I mean, same thing as a bear. So
death cat, murder cat, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, our cat, she's big. She's like a watermelon that walks around here. And I mean, if she wanted to take you out, I bet she could. She's a pretty big cat.
In your sleep.
Yeah. She just sits. All she's got to do is just sit on your chest and compress your lungs enough that you can't breathe. Like having a 20-pound cat sitting on your chin, you won't be able to breathe. Anyway. Summer.
I think we just lost all our audience. People are like, "Hey, these guys are back to talk about identity," and then we're just talking about wildlife and stuff. But it's nice to be back, man. It's nice to be back.
It is. How's everybody else? Is everybody else done with summer vacation yet, or you still have some vacation out there?
We have Sean, we have Bolt. Let us know what you guys been up to. If you're doing anything, how are you feeling? Yeah. So what are we doing today?
Well,
you hinted about Windows.
In some ways, things stay the same, and in some ways, things change all the time.
I see you haven't changed your theme on your Discord yet.
Well, so for those of you who are just getting back with us, and also because, in fairness, I kind of forgot too what we've been doing because we've been gone for so long.
You need to zoom in, by the way. That's awfully tiny.
Yeah, I'll get zoomed. Oh, there's one other thing that happened this summer. In fact, this happened just Sunday. So I came down to my basement, and this is what I was greeted to, which is that's a giant bubble of water sitting in the ceiling. So it doesn't really belong in the ceiling.
Did you put a bucket underneath before you broke the whole thing, or did you just let it rip?
I did. So so the pool table took the brunt of it, and so this was the next phase. And then, and then now we've taken it down entirely. So
yes, but you fixed the damage, right?
Yeah. So now there's a giant hole in our ceiling, which is fun.
Did you fix the damage, or did you get somebody to fix it for you?
Oh, we haven't fixed this part yet. So there is still a hole in the ceiling.
But the leak is fixed.
It's just that. The leak is fixed. So the leak was just that the pipe behind the pipe that sits behind your the drain
washing machine
that sits behind your washing machine. It's just a pipe. It's just like a stand pipe. It's open at the top, and then you put the drain hose down in it because it needs air and whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, that had a clog in it, and so the water would drain from the washing machine, come back up the tube and out and over and onto the floor, and then through the floor and into the basement.
Damn.
So,
And that's a lot of water for even for one wash cycle, right? That's a lot of water that comes out.
well, and Kristen did 4 loads of laundry Sunday.
Back to back without realizing?
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, it's kind of loud and the room is small, and where the thing is on the wall, you can't really see the top of the pipe. So if you're in there, it wouldn't immediately be obvious that it was overflowing.
But
So
was
their
the
water
was
sensors
no water
let
on the
know.
floor?
Well, no, because it was all flowing to the back of the room and going down into the basement instead.
Oh, so no visible damage until you saw the bubble.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So, it was like, well, I guess this is what my Sunday is going to be. So now plumbers came yesterday and they were here 15 minutes and charged us $165. So I was like, I wish I could bill like that.
I am telling you, we're in our own profession.
Yeah, we
Plumbing
really are.
and electrics.
Should we make this a plumbing and wildlife show instead? We'll just
the DIY, nature DIY show. How about that?
Yeah. Nature DIY. Yeah. Sometimes I'll sit around and watch videos of just of people camping out in the woods alone. I'm thinking, wow, it'd be so nice to just go camp in the woods alone and be self-sufficient. But anyway,
There's a great show called Alone, I think.
Yeah. I love that show.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, okay, so here's the problem we have.
Here's the problem.
I mean, this is like rewinding the clock 8 weeks.
Let's talk about code. Yes.
So, we have a website called 425show.dev.
Yeah, in case you didn't know.
The reason we haven't talked about it yet is because it still needs a little bit of work. Most notably, oh, look, it says we're live, so that part's working at least.
Yes.
But most notably, the activities, right? So we want to have a calendar of all of our stuff, and we have a calendar. Good morning or good afternoon, Exegit. I never know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So we want to have a calendar with upcoming activities, right? So when the next stream's going to be, if we're going to be at a conference, whatever. And of course, we've got our IT Pro friends who stream on Wednesdays, and they're doing other stuff now too. So we want to make sure there's this nice calendar so you can go keep up with stuff. And originally we were chasing down ICS because we can go get an ICS. All of you can go get an ICS as well, which is the iCal format that lets you import it into things. Well, that was a huge pain.
You had some comments about that before, remember?
Yeah. And I think it must be what
Strong
a COBOL programmer feels like, because you're parsing all these plain text files that have very specific formats with carriage returns and whatever. So I was like, I don't really want to do ICS because recurrence and all that's just kind of a pain. So instead, we were looking at Graph. Remember, we looked at Graph a few weeks ago, and Graph works really well for this.
Fantastic, but
because Graph has something called Calendar View, right?
But
I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. So if I go look at my query history, in fact, we go look at this. We have this this path in Graph called Calendar View, which is super cool, right? And so Calendar View lets us give it a start date and a start date and an end date, and then it just tells us what's coming up during that period of time, which is really, really nice. It's exactly what we need because we don't have to deal with recurrence rules or any of that silliness, or calculating when the next occurrence of a meeting is and all that sort of stuff we have to do with ICS. Instead, Exchange does it for us. So I thought, perfect, let's use this, right?
But
if you look at the data, it's got all the data in there. Very good. This is perfect.
This is brilliant.
Exactly what we need, right?
Wait for it.
However,
there you go.
In fact, we'd even started coding against that, and you'll notice here in the code. Let me zoom the code in a little bit. We had started coding against that of oh yeah, let's just go do a graph call to go and go and do this, right?
Easy peasy.
Well, this didn't work because we need a specific permission to read a shared calendar. And that permission is called calendars.read.shared. Now,
damn those permissions.
So, friends of the show will know that we talk about consent a lot. We talk about admin consent and getting consent for permissions. Now, if we go look at the permission called calendars.read.shared, which is what we need to make that call. It's a normal delegated permission. So it's a permission that's just given to a user Nothing fancy, nothing exciting. It's just a permission that a user can give, right? And it's read-only. It just allows the application to read the shared calendars of the user. So calendars that are shared with them and or calendars that they have shared. And since we have a public shared calendar, I thought, oh, perfect. Well, then consent hit us. And consent hit us for two reasons. A, Microsoft specifically, like our corporate IT folks, pretty much don't let us consent to anything. You can do that too in your tenants, although we'd advise against it because then you'll see what happens when you get too restrictive with consent here in a minute. So, because we're restricted by consent, we have to go through a huge process to get a consent. Even though this is a really, really minor, very minimal type of permission, we've got to jump through a bunch of hoops just as if it was a more privileged permission. Which the process has been started, but who knows when that's actually going to happen. So you have to go through consent. Of course, consent, for anyone who's not familiar, consent's all about letting an app have access to your data within a service, but have it be scoped. So instead of just giving some random app that wants to say read your calendar, instead of giving it your credentials, which we wouldn't want to do, because then it has access to your entire account. Instead, we go through an OAuth 2 flow and we consent to specific scopes to say, hey, I want to use this application and I want it to only have permission to read my shared calendars, for example. So it can't read my email. It can't modify stuff in my calendar. It can't read my normal calendar. All it can read is a shared calendar. Fairly specific, and scopes are really useful for that because by being specific, you can really control data leakage and everything else, right? But getting consent for that is going to be a pain, and I don't want this website to sit around and wait any longer on getting consent, right?
Yes. So what can we do?
So the thing is, we're going to talk about, I guess we're going to talk about like attack modes a little bit today. So the thing is, the Graph Explorer does have this permission. It's already been consented for this permission. In fact, it's been consented for a significant number of permissions.
Yes.
The thing about Graph Explorer, however, is that Graph Explorer runs in your browser.
Yep.
And because way to go, Bolt. We love it. We love it. Because we're glad that you could come back, Bolt. Because Graph Explorer has been consented, and then the next thought was, okay, well, how do we get their tokens? How do we get Graph Explorer's token? And the advantage is because this is in the browser, you pretty much go to the browser and you press F12 and take a look at local storage. So let's go take a look here at local storage. Oops. Oh no, I'm zooming the wrong thing. Let's go take a look at the storage for Graph Explorer, right? Because Graph Explorer uses MSAL and all the same stuff that you can use in your application. Now, because it's a browser app, everything's here in data, right? So if we look at storage, let's go look at local storage. So here's a local storage for this, for Graph Explorer. Now there's a bunch of other stuff in here that is specific to marketing or performance or tracing or whatever. But there are a few things in here that are quite interesting.
The important
Notably,
bits.
The important bits are things like refresh tokens. Things like ID tokens. Things like access tokens, right? So
Yes.
what's cool about this is that we can actually take these and do things with them that we're not supposed to. And this is one of the inherent sort of issues with apps that run in the browser or on your mobile phone or on your desktop or whatever, is that everything's happening in your customer's device, right? Like all that code's executing in your customer's device. And because of that, nothing stops your customer from acting like a browser. And that's really the keys. So we're in the browser, right? And if we go, let's open up Postman, and we're going to go craft a refresh token request, right? And we're going to take the refresh token that we get from Graph Explorer, and we're going to just try to submit it and see what happens. I know what happens, which is that it'll redeem correctly, which is fantastic, mind you.
Yes, it will redeem.
And it redeems correctly because ultimately in a client-side app, something that's running in a browser, you cannot verify the client. Like, you just can't. Like, how would you? Unless you get into things like token binding, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So let's go take a look here. Log in at microsoftonline.com. We'll zoom this in a little bit. Electron apps all have this control plus thing, but the scroll wheel doesn't work. I don't get it. So if we look here, we're going to make a call to the token, right? How do I get this thing on the side to go away? Can't you collapse that? Okay, good. So we're going to make just a typical refresh token request. If we look at the body, we've got a key, we've got a client ID. Now, this is the Graph Explorer's client ID, mind you. We've got a scope. Now, this scope is calendars.read-write. Calendars.read-write is more privileged than calendars read-shared, obviously, because we're going to be able to read and write a calendar. But this is the permission that's already been consented to by our workplace people, right?
Yes.
And then we also have refresh token. Now, this is an old one, so I'm going to go get a new one. So let's delete this refresh token. And then we have the grant type of refresh token. So let's go get the refresh token out of here. So let's see, which one of these is refresh? That's the ID token. Here we go. Here's the refresh token. So let's go get our secret value. Make sure it didn't take the entire value, which it
should have, because you copied the whole line, right?
Well, I didn't know if it was going to take the client ID, credential type, all that sort of stuff too.
Oh, okay.
So we got the refresh token. We'll put this over here. We'll paste this in. And now, if we were to run this straight up, it's going to bomb and it's going to say, oh, sorry, nope, can't do that. And the reason is because we're missing a user agent and a referrer. So if we try to use this now, we send it without these, it says it's an invalid request because the token is issued for a single page app and the client may only be redeemed via cross-origin request. Now, here's the thing about client apps. My browser runs on my machine, and the fact that it's Edge or Chrome or whatever is really pretty much immaterial. It doesn't really matter because the server has no idea what kind of machine I'm using. Doesn't have any clue. So let's tell Postman to act like a browser. We're going to put the referrer header. I can't say that.
Refer header. Too many hours.
Referrer. We're going to put the website from which you were coming from. We'll call it that.
There you go.
We'll put that in here in the referrer header, and then the user agent we're just going to use just some generic Edge. Like, I think this might be the user agent I'm using. So we're going to add these two and then post this request again, and there we go. We have a token. So now we have our refresh token, right? Now here's the thing. Because there's a bunch of consent has already been done, this is actually a super, super privileged token.
It is.
OpenID.
Which is not a good thing. That's a first party app, right? Hence the reason why we get so much elevation.
Well, it's elevated because Graph does so much that people, in order for Graph Explorer to be useful for people who are testing stuff out, they need to have some stuff. So, Bolt, that's a good question. I'll be honest, I haven't talked to many folks about this yet. I almost streamed this last week when I was building it because you'll see where we're going with this. I almost built this last week on stream, but then I thought, well, maybe I should talk to some people first. Hey, Gruff.
Hey, Gruff.
Good morning, good afternoon.
How are you?
Whatever it is. So this is a super privileged token. It's got a bunch of different permissions. Yeah. Device management, groups, read, write, user read, write. I mean, also, some pretty heavy authorization. Now, the key to remember with this authorization is that my permissions within the service I'm calling are still different from this. So even though we have a scope like user read, write, all, since my user account doesn't have permission to read and write all users, or to write all users particularly, I still can't read write users of this, right?
Yeah, we talked about the intersection of the permissions and your rights as a user. So it's a combination of both. Just because your token gives you all these doesn't mean that you can use them.
Right. So the token's going to give the app the ability to call that API, for example, but the API is still going to look at that and say, well, do you have permission to write? Do you, John, have permission to write user ABC? And it's going to blow up and say no. And so there's an access token with a bunch of stuff in it. And it's a big access token because it has a bunch of scopes in it. So we can take this access token, which we'll do. We'll also get another ID token, which is nice, and another refresh token.
And
so
a refresh
token.
Our
ID
token.
Nice. Yeah. And that's the thing about our refresh tokens. The way that we do refresh tokens is that they are rolling. So a rolling refresh token, the rolling refresh token is every time you redeem a refresh token for a new access token, we're going to send you a fresh refresh token too. And in most cases, that's perpetual. So as long as you use it within a window of time, you're going to get a fresh one, and that fresh one sort of resets the clock. And there are lots of different, there's a good doc on this on what the timelines are and all that sort of stuff. And you can, of course, manually revoke these over time too. So let's see. So let's go make our graph call separately with this token that we
acquired.
And we're going to, what is going on with my mouse today? We're going to go make this call. So this is our graph call that we're trying to make. Let's go back to Postman. We've got our access token in there. We're going to send it, and voila.
Success.
The data, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So we've got our calendar data. So that's super cool and super useful. So I thought, well, let's go build this into our function and make this an API. Now, I had done some earlier work. Let's go get this code up. I had done some earlier work on what I called the per user table token cache, which was a way to cache tokens on a per user basis for headless operations that need user delegated permissions.
Is that code that you nicked from a previous project that we worked on, if I remember correctly?
It is. It is.
Good.
So
it's on GitHub, so people can go and find it.
And it's refined over time. It's been refined over time. So the first thing before we get to that one was just an authorization provider for a graph, and this code's all out there and so I'll publish this code and you can go take a look at it. It's called the borrowed refresh token authorization provider. I felt like stolen was a little bit too strong, so I thought, well, we're just borrowing it, right? No big deal.
We're returning back, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it back.
We'll give it back if you ask for it politely.
So we borrow it, and we're really just making a few changes to the call, and we're building our refresh token call, the same one that we just built in Postman. We're just going to build that here, and we're going to do refresh access token by unsavory means, right? And that works fine. So we go get a response, we get our token, and then ta-da, we're done. And this was fine. This worked fine. But I didn't like the fact that I didn't want to have to go write caching and doing all that silliness myself. So I thought, well, let's figure out how to make this work with MSAL, because MSAL.js is the thing that is getting the tokens in the browser, and MSAL.net is the thing getting the tokens in our function in our web app, right? In our function API.
Yep.
So I thought, well, let's see what we can do with this. So that's where this delegated MSAL headless project. This was the one that started with our token cache. And this just caches tokens into a table. The fact that MSAL handles refresh token redemption and caching made it a really good candidate. So it's like, well, good. If we do this, all we need to do is get MSAL a proper cache to start. We have to build our cache the first time, and then it should be perpetual, because MSAL will just go over and over and over again to say,
refresh the tokens and get the new ones, and on and on and on.
So it's sort of like if you can show up with the right, if you show up and look the right way, then MSAL is going to say, oh, well, I mean, you're the right data format, so I guess I'll use a cache, and then it just keeps rolling, right? So I thought,
nice,
perfect. This is exactly what we need. It gets me to a state where I'm a valid app with a valid cache really quickly, because all we have to do is refresh it once. So you have
to irrigate or populate the cache before you make your first MSAL call, more or less.
Correct. Yep.
Nice.
So you have to populate it the first time, and then once you populate it, you're sort of off to the races.
Hydrate, not irrigate. Hydrate.
I kind of liked irrigate, actually. But so let's go back over to our browser for a minute.
Are you sure you want double with water after all the damage that you had?
That's true. I've had enough irrigation for 1 weekend. So that got me thinking, well, what's a pain is getting the tokens out, because they have to be in a specific format. Now, the other thing about the format is the formats are slightly different between the two. My suspicion is because of the serializers. So in .NET, the JSON block that has all of your data, all of your token cache data, is underscores.
Oh.
So like expires underscore on,
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, it's in fact, I think I've got a sample. Let me pull it up. I'll show you what I mean. Let me see. Where's my code here? Sample data. Here we go.
Do we have? Is it because it's? Is there a space on the credential type?
Yeah, I think so. So in MSAL.js,
Yeah.
each one of these blocks is independent. So like each
Right.
one of those items that was in storage was one of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to build this in .NET.
Conversion.
It's all in one file, so we have to convert
Yep.
it. And then the other
Yep.
thing is things like home account ID were actually home or camel cased home account ID without underscores in JavaScript, but they're underscored without camel casing in .NET. So I had to make that change.
Yep.
And then the last step of that was to base64 encode it so we could put it in table storage,
Right.
because it's got a bunch of goop that HTTP doesn't like.
I see. Okay.
So that was boring and manual. So instead, I wrote a Chrome extension to do this for me. It's called. I don't know if anybody here has kids, but I've got 3 little kids, and I don't know why, but the default gift for baby showers is a little giraffe named Sophie. She's French giraffe.
Is it because you're playing with graph?
Yeah. So I know you can't see it, but the Sophie La Giraffe is the name of the extension, which I'll publish this extension too. So what it does is goes and rips through storage, converts all the stuff.
You mean the browser storage? Browser storage converts. Yep. God, that's so hacky.
Runs through the browser storage, gets all of the tokens, right? And gives it to us in base64. And if we were to go base64 decode this, we would have the exact structure that an MSAL.NET cache needs in order for that to work. I'm not going to do it because these are live tokens. So if I base64 decode it, you'll get live refresh tokens. So at this point, I'm feeling good. I'm like, all right, we've got
we have the token
forward.
Yes.
Right. So we have the token. So we have a cache. We can hydrate the cache. And now we've got an Azure function that's running as if it's Graph Explorer.
But that has to run locally because that won't work if the function is...
Doesn't have to run locally because all I've got to do is put the cache in storage.
In storage. Yes. I forgot about that. You're using storage for persistence.
So then the function just goes and hydrates the cache. So let's go look at the function. And this is kind of a big security issue in the sense that your client apps, in all honesty, probably really shouldn't be issuing refresh tokens to the browser. I mean, I get that there are reasons why, and I understand that happens a lot, but at the end of the day, it's just this kind of stuff can happen. So if you don't care about authenticating your client and knowing which client is doing what, then by all means, send refresh tokens. But your user experience is going to be a little bit different and whatever. But
do you want to talk about token binding at this point, just to explain why this will not work once token binding comes into play?
Well, so that's the thing. I'm not actually 100% sure that token binding would fix this, because the whole point of token binding is to cryptographically link a client to a request, right?
Yes.
The thing is, it's a TLS extension. Yeah, that's true. This is definitely a don't attempt this at home. I mean, if I don't come back for a few weeks, you'll know what happened. Somebody got
this is done by trained professionals. We'll take the stream down after this one, so there'll be no evidence of what we did.
It's a live only one that doesn't get recorded one time only.
Persistence. Yeah.
So the thing is, token binding. The whole premise of token binding is that we've got this extra bit of crypto that happens to sign or to link a request to a client.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is, and I don't know this. Well, for starters, it's in TLS. It's in the TLS channel, so it's not like an OAuth extension or anything like that, because it could be used to arbitrarily link any kind of data, not just JWTs and identity stuff, but maybe your bank account. Like, okay, like we're going to link this browser to this request. The problem with that, though, and the thing I haven't figured all this out yet, And yes, this is much easier than parsing an ICS. To be quite honest, between date math and ICS, between parsing the ICS and then figuring out all the recurrence date math and time zone math, this is easier. Now, at the same time, one of these things I feel like I'm a bit more comfortable with. ICS and date time math is not one of them, but whatever.
So in other words, we use the poison that we are used to rather than something new that we're not used to.
Everything looks like a hammer, right? Everything looks like a nail.
Yeah.
So token binding, but the thing about token binding is because it's on TLS and because Windows S Channel handles that, I'm actually wondering if you're in a case with a malicious client, because that's essentially what this is malicious client, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a malicious client, then the key material used, especially if it's done at the OS level, like in S Channel and Windows, would still potentially be available. Meaning, it's great that somebody can't steal your token and use it potentially somewhere else, like man in the middle. Yep. But if you've got machine access, I don't actually know if token binding fixes this. But I don't know because we don't have token binding up yet on all endpoints, and I haven't had enough time to go try it out. But it's okay because we're going to see a security thing that actually thwarts this here in a minute. So what I have is a function that runs every 12 hours that goes and refreshes this token. And then you can call the endpoint to go get calendar data. So everything's working great, right?
So this one is running first to... So how does this work with the browser extension?
It does. They don't really work together at all. The browser extension gives you your seed data. It gives you your starting cache, and then MSAL takes over from there. Now,
so
I thought about
once
adding
you have
a send to storage button, but...
So once you have your refresh token, you're done. Right.
You're done.
What you're saying is that you're using the extension to grab the first refresh token, you put in the cache, and then the Azure function will perpetually refresh until it stops running.
Because the refresh token, every time you use one, you get a new one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or so we thought.
Oh, come on. That was a twist that you threw out there.
So let's go look at what we've got going on here, right? So this is my App Insights instance. It's got all the data in here, right? And so
I hope you're not logging your tokens.
Oh, I'm not logging the tokens. No.
Okay.
So the problem is, you'll notice we're getting this MSAL client, required exception.
Required exception. Mm-hmm.
So we have a thing that runs every 12 hours to go and try to refresh this token.
Yes.
This would have worked probably 6 to 12 months ago. The reason it doesn't work now, and this was a new thing that I just learned yesterday, the reason that this doesn't work is because our refresh tokens for single page apps are time boxed to 24 hours, regardless of how many times you redeem them. So it's not a token lifetime question, it is a session lifetime question. So the session itself, the max age of the session, however many times you try to redeem a refresh token in those 24 hours, the max session time before you have to re-authenticate interactively on a single page app in Azure AD is 24 hours.
Damn those security folks.
I know. So thwarted again. However, I do think it's an interesting thing because while we do that for single page apps, we don't do it for other apps because presumably other apps you've got secrets and stuff you have to deal with. And of course, there are mobile apps, so if you can steal... Oh, that's one thing I didn't think about. I wonder if I can get the refresh cache out of my mobile phone.
Ooh.
Anyway, we'll come back to that one. But the net result is if you steal a SPA's cache, it's only going to be good. It's only going to be good for a day.
24 hours, yeah.
Unless you go change it. But the net result is it's only going to be good for a day.
Okay.
Which for me was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, kind of like, okay, good. That means we'll stay employed because there's not some giant, I mean, and the thing is it's not really a security. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it is a security issue in the sense that it isn't a flaw. It's sort of it's not a flaw in the software and the implementation. It's a flaw sort of in the flow in general. Because, I mean, we're talking about running code on somebody else's machine. It's an untrusted machine. You're crossing a trust boundary. Like, 24 hours is sort of a good balance between do you have to re-authenticate all the time and how, you know, and a decent user experience and security. Because, yeah, if this thing was a perpetual refresh token like we get in, say, a server-side app, the fact that you could refresh it into perpetuity would be a big deal.
Yeah.
And there are certain things that will trigger a refresh token to be invalid in Azure AD. So things like there's a whole matrix of what they are, but like, you know, your admins can set different things that cause those to be invalidated, or they can invalidate them manually. But anyway, so the net result is that of this, yet again, it only works for a day.
Yeah.
So that got me thinking. Is there like COM interop or automatability for Edge, where I could just open Edge on a machine, go through a sign-in with with Selenium essentially?
Sure.
Because I got a primary refresh token and all that sort of fun stuff on the box.
But you'll have to use our OPC for that, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. If I go to log in to Graph Explorer, I get a window that pops up. I click my thing, and most of it happens. I don't type in credentials. I'm not getting MFA'd. I'm just re-authenticating. So that was my first thought. And then, to Xe's point...
Yeah, Selenium allows you to do headless Edge, or headless Chrome.
Maybe we're getting too far down the rabbit hole, and we need to rethink this a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the other thing I realized is I have this calendar.
Yes. On your Windows machine. Yeah.
On my Windows machine. So the calendar app or whatever the thing is that's in Windows, here's the 425 show event calendar, and here's today's event, right? Mm-hmm. So this calendar is here. So I thought, how do we get access to this store of data, right?
Another rabbit hole for JP.
Now, this is a rabbit hole that actually has a terminus. Mm-hmm. So if you've been watching for the past 45 minutes and you're annoyed with us that we've basically given you two different ways that that don't actually work, our apologies.
Well, so they sort of work for 24 hours, so technically they do work. Embeds a Google Calendar link and walks away.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking, was how do I, maybe I should just write something that reads the calendar or imports the ICS into a different tenant, and then we just use the other tenant. That would be an option too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, we just have a function that reads the ICS, imports it to another calendar somewhere else, and then
you can just grab the ICS and upload it.
Yeah, and then we can just call Graph from that calendar. Which, again, I kind of want to send this video to our IT folks and say, this is what people do. The fact that we're doing this and we recorded it is probably a bit anomalous, but other people are out there figuring out how to do this kind of stuff.
Yes.
I am an extremely mediocre programmer, human being. And if I can figure this out in a few hours, figure this out in a few hours. Nation states are stealing refresh tokens left and right. Anyway. So then I ended up in Visual Studio, which I haven't been in a very long time. I had to install a 15 gig Windows SDK thing. I don't know what. I was like, why do I have to do this? But anyway. And so I made a UWP, which this is what prompted the question yesterday of is UWP still even a thing? But there's this namespace called windows.appmodel.appointments, and there's contacts and mail and all this stuff too. So it's this is how we're going to get this, right? Because I can just run a little Windows service or something that just pushes, just gets 90 days worth of calendar and pumps it up there once a day. I mean, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So it's pretty easy to use. You find all async, and then you find your user, and then you just get a specific calendar. I know this is the calendar's ID, which that's an extremely unique ID format that I've never seen before. But if we run it, then we should get. And I had to do a little Windows consent thing, which I thought was kind of cool the first time.
Is this Visual Studio 2022? It looks like it, right?
I think so, yeah. Because I can't zoom anything else. I can't zoom the rest of the interface. I can only zoom the thing. So anyway, so
it's been 21 years of Visual Studio, and we still can't zoom the rest of the UI.
Yeah. So I also can't zoom this UI apparently. which
You
kind
can
of sucks.
use
But anyway,
Zoom it or the Zoom function, Windows Plus.
is it called magnifier?
Yeah.
Crash my whole machine. Okay, so I found this sample app that does calendar goop on does calendar or appointment stuff. So anyway, so show time frame. This is where I wrote some code. And look, there's our calendar. It got that out of my calendar.
Nice.
So this is cool, but I don't want to run a desktop app like this. Like I don't want to run this UI all the time because maybe I'm a little pedantic. I don't know. I just don't want to run this all the time. I want it to run as a service or whatever. And that brings us to today, which is how on earth can I use this API for connecting to appointments
from a console app or a service?
From a console or a Windows service or something. I mean, yeah, essentially a console app or Windows. I mean, I'd be okay with console app right now. So I'm going to go create a console app and we're going to get
Can you not just do it if you import the namespaces?
Well, I can't, like, there are no packages. Like, I can't find a package that is associated with that.
What about the WinUI package thing? Is there another WinUI package?
I did read an article yesterday. That's the thing. A lot of this is really conflicting. So I read an article yesterday that apparently there are certain build targets you can use in your .NET console app. The problem with that is I did that, and then the compiler was like, "Oh no, this isn't how you do this." But it didn't tell you how to do it, so it was kind of like, so let's do a new console, and we'll call it WinCal. Because that's what we're doing, right? Windows Calendar. So WinCal and then code. All right, so let's go look. Now this is just a straight up console app, nothing fancy, right? Also, why doesn't code remember the size at which you last closed it? I still don't get this.
Yeah, it opens in a weird kind of a resized size. I don't know why.
Bolt says we should just run the executable from a console app. It's actually a good idea.
Oh, like pinvoke? That's a great...
Wait a minute. What the hell? Is this the minimal thing? This is my program.cs. Do you see this?
Yes. All the magic is there. Are you on the latest Windows... are you on the latest .NET 6 preview?
I must be.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means I need, because I'm old.
Yeah.
I need a static class called program, right? Maybe GitHub thing will do most of this work for me. It looks like it will. Good. Because I am old, this doesn't. I mean, this is the minimal stuff, right? So I guess all my things are just there, and that's that, right?
By the way,
all of the namespace and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
It's already there.
Yeah.
Oh, good. VS Code will put a namespace in for me, so that's good. Okay. So, oops. If we look at our thing, I mean, it's just a regular .NET, what is this, .NET 6 thing. So I tried adding the target here to, I think it was called Windows Desktop. And that was when the compiler blew up and said, nah, you can't do that. So, and the thing is, I don't even know what these are called anymore. Are these WinRT APIs? Are these UWP API? Like what? I don't even know what they're called. So I'm going to try UWP API in .NET app. And you'll notice I have a bunch of purple links because I was trying to read about this yesterday, and I kind of bounced around a bunch of different places, but I really genuinely couldn't figure out exactly what I was trying to do. So this seems like the thing that we want. Call Windows runtime and APIs, right? So...
Is that the one that they started complaining about when you changed the project?
It is.
Windows runtime. So it wants to use WinRT, more or less.
Because that's what this stuff is, right? And that's the thing. I'm not sure, like, who are the Windows developers, right? So it says in .NET 5 you can use a target framework moniker, but it doesn't seem to tell me what those are. But for earlier versions of .NET, you install this NuGet package. So when we use the target framework moniker, and I think I did this yesterday. So this is the thing I had in here. Yeah, so this when we add the Windows desktop thing, it kind of doesn't like that. But I'm going to put it in here anyway so you can see it because maybe I'm misreading maybe I'm just misreading it. What is wrong with my mouse? This mouse is going to go out the window today if it doesn't stop skipping around. So
Battery running out?
I just charged it like 2 days ago. It's probably dirty. Yeah, I think it is. Oh, that's so gross. Oh my God, what is that?
Another DIY project for JP today.
That's the only problem with a trackball is you still end up with a dirty ball like you did 20 years ago.
So this needs to be cut out from the video, by the way.
A dirty mouse ball. I mean, get your mind out of the gutter.
Be specific. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, the thing is,
jumping onto the.
I like obsessively keep my hands clean, so I don't even know where this comes from, like where this funk.
Phrasing, exactly, Grant. Phrasing. This needs to be PG, man. It's going up on YouTube. I'll be asked whether it's for kids or not when I publish it.
Of course it is. Everybody's got to clean their mouse balls occasionally.
There's not mice with balls anymore. It's this, like laser thingies, like Logitech.
But what is my thumb gonna turn if I don't have a ball?
Right. These 5 minutes are, all modern mice are female.
Anyway. So we got this Windows desktop thing in here. And then the other thing it said, we have to put a specific, what I'm assuming is a specific SDK version, right?
It says output type WinXE. You can change that as well, right?
Oh, yeah, that's different too. Yeah. Okay,
yes.
WinXE. Let's side by side these so we can just make sure we're good to go. So, okay.
So Windows executable means that it is a console app or runs in Windows contexts?
So WinXE, we'll do .NET 5, and then we need this moniker. So it's .NET 5, and then, I think we should go look at the appointments API, but, so we have to put one of these on here, and I guess it's whatever the minimal version is that you need to target, right? Or is it?
Also, you need to have that in your machine, otherwise it will not compile. Because now you're referring to a specific.
Well, this is like minimum version you're at. This is the minimum version of Windows that you need to get, right?
Let's do that.
So let's try the lowest one. That seems to make the most sense, right? So that way it has the broadest applicability for people who need to read their calendars out of Windows, which sadly I don't believe is going to be terrible from a Windows console app, mind you. But we're all about trying to keep things, keep things available for people. And then it also has this use Windows Forms, but we're not using Windows Forms. We're not using WinForms.
No,
we're just going to do a console app, right? Well, I'm going to leave that one out. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we got our thing here, right? And oh dear, I think it looks like we've already broken it because now console is squiggly. I guess because we're not using system.
Okay. Hey, quick request. Can we do a break because my teeth are floating?
Yeah, let's do a quick break. We will be back in probably not even 5 minutes. We'll be back in just
2.5 minutes.
See if this works.
That's how long the break music, isn't it?
That's right. It's like 2 minutes and 34 seconds, so we got to be quick.
No
All
looping.
right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're back. Everybody's
clean.
everybody's clean. I
Clean.
think the mouse seems to be working a little bit better now. Okay.
Hey.
So in our project, we've got .NET SDK, Windows Desktop, WinXE, Net5 with a specific target framework moniker in there. And I don't think we need to use Windows Forms because we're not using Windows Forms. Hopefully we don't need to put that in, right?
Run it and see what happens.
Well, we don't have any of our code. So let's go over
Doesn't
here.
matter.
I'm just going to grab the code. Let's just grab this code. So this is the code that we use to get the calendar in on our UWP thing. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. Where is my... Here we go. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. It groups them together. The fact that these two windows were grouped together.
Oh.
If I clicked one, it brought both of them back. How cool is that?
Yep.
Okay. So let's make this bigger again. And I'm just going to put this in a new class. So I don't have to deal with like async stuff.
And change your static class to be async.
Yeah, I know. So let's see, because all the Windows API stuff is async. So, what is that?
Food.
Oh no, the people that come in to look at the hole in my ceiling are coming at 2:00. That's good.
Oh.
You won't be here. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I'll be here. His name's Patrick too. Oh, okay. That's good. Okay. That way it'll be easier to remember. Okay. So public async task do stuff. Okay, I'll take that suggestion. GitHub, thank you. And let's put our code in here. So now we don't. I need system threading. Yeah, we need system threading. Now, okay. So this is saying
you got extra brackets there, don't no?
Oh, I do have some extra brackets. See that now? That is the one thing I don't like is between IntelliCode or IntelliSense and the GitHub magic thing. What's that thing called?
Yeah. Copilot.
I do end up with a bunch of extra stuff that I don't always want.
You need your appointments enumerable, by the way.
Oh yeah, we do need that, don't we? So let's see. Of appointment. We'll call that appointments. And we'll make that a new list of appointment.
And appointment is a RT object?
It is. So nice. Let's see. We need system collections generic. Thank you. We need link. Yep. Thank you. So
look at that.
So what namespace is this in? Okay. So the light bulb isn't giving us anything.
No. Probably because you haven't imported that namespace.
This was it Windows application model. It was Windows application model appoint. Oh, hello. Appointments. Wait a minute. Is that going to resolve? No. It says Windows can't be found. Let's try let's see. Let me do a .NET restore. I mean, there's nothing to restore though, right? I mean, I guess we did change the framework moniker, so maybe there is something to restore.
That's a good point. Oh, ta-da!
Oh, okay. So, it went away.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Ta-da! I did say ta-da.
All right. Okay, so, oops, we don't even need that, do we? Okay, so the only thing I need to, all of that resolved. Okay. So appointments. Oh,
that's amazing.
You can't add to an enumerable. Oh, how annoying. Okay, I mean, of course you can add to an enumerable. What am I talking about? Or no, you can't add to an enumerable. Okay, so everything's resolved. Why doesn't it like this? Do not use enumerable methods on indexable collections. Instead, use the collection directly. Okay. Okay. I guess we'll just take the first user. Okay. So I've got my find all async on the user. So this should get me the user that's here. And I'm just doing local user and locally authenticated, which I am.
Okay.
And then we're going to get the appointment manager, and the appointment manager has this appointment store that hangs off of it, and the appointment store is the way that you can get the actual data in there. We're going to get we're going to get our specific calendar.
Also, how do you know what the calendar name is, or? Get appointments.
So
B8D. What the
yes,
hell is that?
so what we could do is we could do in the store.
Mm-hmm.
There is a
Get calendar or something?
find calendars async, and I believe we can give it. Yes, this gives you all of the calendars.
Calendars.
I found the one
All
I
right.
needed, but you're right.
Okay.
We could probably do this with an actual name. I did that in the other one in the Windows, like the UWP UI app, and it was fine. And this was the ID for the 425 show calendar.
So just to clarify, this is a magic string. You should not be coding like that in production systems. Just don't pass magic strings like that.
I think this entire stream is so far away from what you should do in
Best
production
practices.
systems.
Yeah, just scrap the whole thing, just like you never saw it.
I mean, remember, the whole point of this is to avoid me having to A, get consent, and B, do time zone math. So, okay, I'm also gonna, let's console right line these things just for the sake of whatever. Okay. And then, so we're just going to iterate through the appointments. We're going to get 30 days worth of appointments. So from now until 30 days. And then, so I guess we'll see if it works. We'll see if it builds.
If this works, that'll be amazing.
If we build a little anticipation. Oh, yeah. So this is what I saw yesterday.
Oh.
It was blowing up telling me the Windows desktop we couldn't use. It says, consider changing the SDK attribute to just .NET SDK. So let's do that. Because it did build. Build succeeded, which is cool.
But I fear that you might have issues with... No.
Okay.
Oh. Nice.
Okay. Now, interesting. It did put it in a. Specific. Put the assembly here. So let's. Are we going to do a .NET run?
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
I didn't do anything.
Oh
wait.
what?
You know I didn't do anything because our main doesn't do anything.
Ah! You forgot to call it for main. Nice.
Yeah. So that was a me problem. So new stuff. Do stuff.
Oh look at that. Var A. Don't do that. Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. It's voids. There's nothing to do here anyway. Oh wait, but now you're right. I should use the what is it now? Public async.
Async task.
Async task. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can await a do stuff, and then we'll just do a console. I'll just do a write line here to all done, fin, and we'll do a console read line so that at least we have to hit enter before the window goes away. Okay, You ready? .NET run.
Yeah, you can have async statics on the main program since I think .NET Core.
Oh,
what?
I didn't have a my main wasn't static, but my class was.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
It's not doing anything.
debug it.
All right, let's debug it.
Run some unit tests.
All right, let's debug it.
You know, we promised in the what?
Launch program. Oh, it's because the path is wrong.
Oh, you're launching the. God, I've been caught by that before. You need to go and grab the output from the. No, it's .NET.
This one. Yeah,
yes.
It's this one. Net 5, 10.0, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Pow. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh.
All right. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So we're getting somewhere. Okay. So we got a store. Do we have a user? Okay. We're going to get our calendar. Opening calendar. Oh, look. There's the calendar objects. That's good. We got our display name.
Nice.
Okay. So there's our display. Sources, mail and calendar. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Get our appointments. All right. Moment of truth. I love like the
Okay.
comm marshalling here is going bananas. Okay, so we got an appointment. We have an
Uh-huh.
appointment. Oh, look at that. We do have an appointment.
Awesome.
So the recurrence, there's start time 8/17/2021, which is
Mm-hmm.
today. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. What? So we're gonna add this, and then we're gonna let's see. Start time. The start time is 11 a.m., which is today. The subject is community hours, which is what
Perfect.
today was supposed to be. Details are empty because we didn't have any
Nothing.
details in the meeting invite, and the duration is 2 hours. What? Okay, so we add them all. Why is it? Oh no, there it is. There it is in the console. So why is my console app not writing it?
Uh,
It's got to be some sort of Windows thing.
oh, is it trying to find something in the .NET 5 folder instead of the when you do .NET Run? Is it trying
Look
to
at
find
it.
something in the .NET folder?
Look,
Awesome.
there they are.
So you run. So
So
try to do
right.
a .NET Run now without debugging and see what happens.
Okay. Single-threaded apartment. So .NET Run. So I wonder why we can't. Why can't we get the? There's got to be some like console accessibility that isn't here by virtue of being the Windows thing.
I wonder if .NET Run
Although,
defaults to the .NET 5 folder and you need to pass the full path for the DLO.
so there is a. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Can't you tell it which thing you want to do? Well, I guess we just do a .NET Run V and see what it's trying to do. Oh, okay. Oh, required option missing for V. Oh, let's do D for detailed.
Oh,
Hello, MS Build.
it's been a long
Just
time.
just went. Okay, so it built, but yeah, it built it in .NET SDK 6.
See?
Okay, so I need to do a .NET Run. How do you give .NET Run a target? A target though, can't you do it with a specific target? Oh, framework. There we go.
Yeah.
Pow. Okay, so .NET Run
F.
runtime that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, specified runtime identifier is not recognized.
Was that not an example? I think that was an example.
Oh, is that not the one that we're using? Good
I
point.
don't think it's the
Oh
one
no,
that
it
we're
is.
using. It is?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Maybe it needs to be in quotes. Nope.
.NET
Interesting.
6.0 SDKs targets error. So it's using the 6.0 SDK to run the specific identifier? Huh.
Yeah, so why doesn't a .NET Run work?
Although, you know what? Go back to your VS Code launch and see what the call is.
Oh, good call. Let's go look and see. So in our launch,
It says,
it's just calling that assembly.
yeah,
Okay, so let's just we'll just do a .NET Run on that assembly, right?
I think so. You can call it DLO. I think it's missing a .0 at the end. Said.
You think?
I think that's what
Okay.
Bolt said.
Oh, I think you're right, Bolt. Look at that. Oh, no. I
Ah,
still don't like that. Interesting.
well,
I
try to run
wonder.
the.
Okay, let's try to run the DLL.
I think you just call .NET and the DLO. You don't have to press run, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. You would know that better than I would. What's my folder here? So we're in bin, debug, net 5.0 Windows, blah, blah, blah. Oops. And then WinCal.
Hey, thanks for the subscription, P2A 2020. I don't know how you can pronounce that.
So it's still, so it runs, like, well, it runs in the sense that it does not error.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can .v this and verbose it. Oh no, sorry. .NET run.
D, right?
Okay, so build. You know, maybe we should do this in another window so we can see more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you know they can actually drag the terminal now up onto the editor?
Oh, cool. How do I
Yeah,
do that?
drag the .NET. You know the
This?
little icon there? Yeah, drag it up
Oh,
there.
oh,
Ah,
oh,
look at
look at
that.
that.
It's amazing,
Nice.
isn't it?
Okay.
You learned
Okay.
something today.
So
I
it
was,
builds.
yeah, I was valuable. What does it do?
So
Check
it
me out.
builds.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our build. That's all good. Um,
I'm like Scott Guthrie to Scott Hanselman. I'm here to add value, you know?
so okay, so it builds, and then it says build succeeded, and then it doesn't actually execute it. What if we did a what is it? A .NET publish? It just got like an exe, right? So we'll do a
Yes.
release, and then I guess we'll just do that. Okay, so then we need to get into bin release.
Oh, you know what? You don't have to
net5.
press run. Just say .NET and then pass the DLL and it should run it.
Okay.
There's no run. Ah. What does one like?
Don't like it.
Misspell the build in .NET. But .NET does not exist. Oh, wait. The path is wrong.
Well, but because I'm in a different folder.
Because you're in a different folder.
I'm just gonna put the whole thing in here, so it doesn't matter where I'm running it from. WinCal. Oh, you're right.
Ah, there you go.
There it is. So, but I still can't .NET run from the main project root, right?
Mm-hmm.
.NET Rotnet. .NET run. That's so weird.
Is it frozen?
No,
Oh.
it works. It takes 5.828 seconds, actually, but it's really strange. Well, anyway, but we know if we run the DLL directly, it does work,
Yep.
which is kind of cool.
Yep.
So what ended up in that publish folder, I wonder?
It will be the executable, isn't it? There'll be an exe.
WinCal. WinCal exe.
Why?
Why doesn't that work?
WinCal. It's not recognized.
That's weird.
It is. Because that's why
what's in that publish folder? I mean, it's the same file. At least it's the same size. So I don't know how that would be any different.
Huh.
I don't know. That's weird. Well,
Try
the net is...
Try to run .NET WinCal DLL and see what happens.
So why does the executable work?
That is strange.
Well, okay. So then this means I could write a little... so this little console app, I could just have it run like as a scheduled task. And just push
you could, but ideally you would like to call the exe rather than the .NET.dll, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it would. Why is it doing that? Where are the Windows developers?
Let's pull Emo.
Are they both
Let's
busy
pull
right
Emo
now?
into this one. Are they both busy?
So I can .NET run the DLL, but I can't .NET run the. But I can't run the executable directly.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can run it, but it doesn't output anything.
Do I need to like .NET publish it with a specific moniker?
Remember
Remember how you had to make like specific things? Oops, what have I done? Okay, so CD. There we go. So it's .NET publish, and then I think we can maybe give it a specific thing. So uses the current runtime as the target runtime. Current being the .NET app or the configured one. No build, self-contained. Do not build the project before publishing. Let's see. Oh, we could do self-contained and see if that would work, I guess. And then
That's a very good
framework.
point.
It
Yeah.
looks like it has the default framework. Do we need to do this OS?
Wait a minute.
Win
If you
XE?
go, I think you need to include the framework there.
Okay, so let's see. So we'll do release. We'll do framework, which is this one with a 0 at the end. Okay. Release.
Release me.
And then
Self-contained.
Self-contained. And then runtime would be win exe, right?
I think so.
Oh, no, don't like that.
nope.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no, that's not.
Oh.
Not supported to build or publish a self-contained app without specifying a runtime identifier. Okay, so then the runtime identifier is, I think this is just Windows, right? Or Win. There are a bunch of them, but let's see. .NET runtime identifiers. The RID. You know, RID used to mean something else.
I don't know.
Okay, so this
Windows
has
RID.
to be, so it has to be Windows, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Windows because Windows has because we're using WinRT APIs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be Windows 10, but I guess we just do let's just do WinX64.
Yeah.
So WinX64.
Just thinking about it. It's bundling the 200 megs of .NET runtime.
Okay. Okay. So let's go to this.
Okay.
Let's go to this folder.
You can click and it will take you there, doesn't it? Or will it open into...
It opens it in here.
Oh, okay.
So we want to go here. Oops. We want to go to bin, release, net, WinX64. How the hell is that self-contained?
Well, you have everything you need in there. So you just need to call the wincal.exe, I guess.
Okay, let's call WinCal.
Ah, come on.
I don't know. This is annoying. Maybe this is why people don't build desktop apps. Oh, wait. No, let's go to the publish folder. Publish. Oh, no. Publish is full of what seem to be the same identical file. I don't understand. I'm just going to stick to writing web apps.
Okay, so you have your...
So wincal.exe. Oops. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, no. Please don't open that.
At least didn't open in Visual Studio.
That's true. It could have been a lot worse. We'd still be waiting. Okay. So it just doesn't do anything. It's very strange.
But if you do .NET wincal.dll, it will run. Which is weird.
Let's see. .NET wincal.dll. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. So it says there's something wrong in the deps.json.
Is that the one that you opened by mistake?
It was. Maybe, did we break it?
It shouldn't break, but I wonder if it tried to format it somehow and then it broke everything.
Oh, it's because I started typing in here.
There you go.
Okay, let's try this one more time. So that store.
Ah, it's so frustrating now.
Yeah, why can't I just write wincal.exe and have it just work? That's what I don't understand.
In my experience, it should do the exact same thing because it wraps the .NET into that command and it runs. But I don't know why. Like in the past when I was building self-contained or executable apps, it just worked. But at least we got it working. So what's the next step from here once you run it there?
Okay, so then, well, and because, yeah, you're right, because honestly, this probably doesn't actually matter that much. I mean, it does matter, but, so the next thing is, now we need to put this into a format. We need to put this into a format and publish this somewhere so that we can...
Pull that information on the website, right?
So we can pull it on the website.
So some like table storage?
Yeah, my thought is, my thought is if we were to mimic the graph response,
Mm-hmm.
then our JavaScript can code against that. And it means that if our app gets consented, then we can switch back to graph.
Also, you're
And-
going to dump a calendar object, an MS Graph calendar collection.
Yeah, so my thought was if we took, I guess I can make this big. So like we actually don't need all of this data. We only need a select bit of this. So like if we do a select, we really only need what do we need?
Well, you need
the
date, you need the content, you need the header.
So we need start, we need end,
Start. Mm-hmm.
we need location,
Yes.
we don't need organize or any of that.
I think it's further up. You need the subject, I think, isn't it? The subject. You need subject.
You see it somewhere? Oh yeah, there it is. Subject. Okay, so we need
Mm-hmm.
the subject. So we really only need those,
Mm-hmm.
which would be a much smaller payload, which is good.
Yep.
So this gives us our start date time, end date time, our location, and we've been putting the URL in the location. And I think that's all we need, to be honest.
Now, are you sure that the location is in the URL? Because I think there was a different property in the data objects.
There it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
So you need to create a class from this JSON and then populate that class in our code with that
Yep.
data, right?
Yep, and then we need to publish our data in this format. So
Cosmos.
we need to take the calendar, the appointments that we get out of the thing, and then turn it into this kind of these objects essentially, and then we'll use these objects in the function,
Yep.
and that way, if in the future we can get graph, if we get approved essentially,
Yep.
the JavaScript will still go against a common contract.
Yes.
Although we don't necessarily, because we're going to have to proxy it anyway, right? We're not going to be querying graph as the user who's on we're not going to be querying graph directly from the web page.
No, you're
It's
right.
gonna have to
It
call
has
the
to go
service
through the
anyway.
function.
So the function's going to have to do this anyway. So
We might
I
as
guess
well
it's-
save ourselves some code and
yeah,
return only the clean values.
yep. So we'll take
Like a
the
flat
clean
object.
values.
A
Yeah.
flat object. Yeah.
So we get our appointments. That's cool. So we got our appointments. So then we need to. So we need to essentially serialize and upload our objects, right?
Yes. Yes.
This is where.
To what?
I guess we'll just put it in storage somewhere.
SQL. Just throwing out random names. SQL. Cosmos.
That's
storage.
right. Let's put it in SQL. Well, we could put it in. Well, let's see. We could
Table,
CSV it.
storage
CSV it. Put it
table.
in tables.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing. So here's the thing. I don't want to end up having to like change track. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want us to do individual rows per object because then we're gonna have to,
Read the rows and then.
yeah, like update or
Yeah.
not. Because
Oh, you're gonna dump the whole thing into a blob?
Yeah, because we're not talking about a whole lot of data, right? I mean, we're
No.
talking about like what 20 events,
More or less, yes.
and if we were to change the graph at some point, which hopefully we can, then graph's just going to give us a big list of them anyway, right?
Mhm.
So instead of us trying to like, because we don't need to do anything to them, we essentially just need to show them.
Correct.
So maybe we just take the thing, we just take these.
Uh-huh.
I'm almost wondering if we just add these and then serialize the list. I wonder if we just serialize the list to be done.
JSON serialize that into a collection and then dump it into a blob.
You know, like we could select what we need is. I'll just
You already have that, right? Start time, subject details, and duration. Oh, why do we have duration there?
I just because I wanted to see if. It
Oh,
worked.
random stuff. Okay.
Then we need. I don't need
Details.
details. We need duration. And we need location.
Location.
Oops.
Yeah.
Location.
That's perfect. Start time.
Oh, because you know why? There is no end time. That's why we need duration. Because we're going to have to calculate. We're going to have to calculate it. Although we could do an end time. We could just calculate it ourselves. So end time is... Look at that.
Oh, my God. AI was listening to you.
So good.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Why does not like it? I mean, Copilot sometimes is super scary.
It's pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay, so we've got our appointments to store.
Mm-hmm. You need to return that, right?
We just need to serialize it ultimately, right?
Are you doing everything in one function?
Oh, no, I'll move it. I'll move it.
Although I've been seeing a lot of comments lately about what happens when people abide too closely to clean code principles and then they end up with over-engineered systems. You might as well just be one method.
I mean, it's just going to run and go, right? So we got our serialized stuff, and then we're just going to... Look at that. Look at that. Pow. Although I don't really want the Windows storage API. Let's just write this to... Let's just write it somewhere. Where should we write it?
Write the file for now to see what comes out.
I wonder where this is going to actually get stored. Now that I wonder.
Local data probably, or it will be at the root of the. It will be at the root of the current application. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, replace existing. So this is a clobber. Okay. All right. So I wonder.
Brute force. Why not?
I wonder if I can I print this? What does this return? Create file async. Do I actually have a file path that I can print after this, just so we can see it?
Yeah, it will be the. Oh God, Copilot is just insane.
So good, so good. All right, now I can't .NET run it without writing lots of extra words. So let's see. So we'll .NET build.
And remember, you need to call the .NET and the DLO. The full path. Bin
debug net5
there.
wincal.dll and kaboom. Okay, so that's an invalid operation.
Which one? I think it was the writing the file, isn't it?
I wonder if it's because it's not a Windows app. Well, because it's not a Windows app, I wonder if that's why. So it says get current on data statics.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that because the select did not work properly?
No, that looks like that happened at
line 56.
This is getting current for the current local folder. That's fine. Do
you want to just do system.io file? There you go.
Write all text, and let's just write it to.
Yeah, temp, ctemp. Why do you need two forward slashes if you're doing at?
I don't. Just give me a sec.
Sorry.
Give me a sec.
I was just asking.
You know what we ought to do?
What?
I have an idea. You know what we should do? Let's do GitHub Copilot, but it's live. It's a live person watching you code, but you can't see them.
Almost like live, sir, you mean?
Yeah, but you think it's an AI, but you're like, damn, that's really specific. These comments they're saying are really specific. I think it'd be pretty funny. Oh yeah, I guess I don't need to.
And then they try to annoy you. I think that's me. You don't need Clippy or anybody else. I'm just here to annoy JP when he writes code.
Okay, so let's see if this. Let's see.
57 won't work because there you go.
So let's see if this is gonna write. This is gonna write way deep in the path. So I need to go back 3 to come back to the root, right?
Yep.
So.
Or you can do the other one, like C. Is it C git or something, and then you can pass the.
I could do, yeah. Or we could probably get environment too, don't you think?
You could.
So let's do .NET build.
Clippy was definitely ahead of its time. Seems like you're writing a letter. Do you need some help?
Awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
writing. Done.
Now we just have to find it.
Just open the...
Maybe did I go too far back?
Yeah, open your Explorer and see what happens.
Sorry, this is going to be kind of tiny.
I think you're probably too far up.
I go too far back? No, it's not there.
Okay. Huh. One level down?
If we just do it straight up. Okay, so we got our serialized data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to build it and then we can run it, apparently. And this is still the right one, right? Yep. So route to WinCal bin debug, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
So 2 levels up will be bin, right?
Yeah, but it's not showing up there either. Does it not
Does
like
the file
my
show up
paths?
straight away?
It should show up, because I don't think we have to do a flush. Yeah, so path, writes new file using the specified string. If the target file already exists, it's overwritten. Yeah, string contents and encoding, and our serialized data is just a string out of serialized, and then it's UTF-8. So write all text doesn't need a...
And it closes the file as well, so technically you don't have to do usings or anything else.
It should be all it's done, all it's doing.
Yeah.
So where is, I wonder where our data is. Unless it's running, oh, is it running it relative to where the .NET executable
runtime
is? Or what is it, find? How do you find
Where?
Where?
Nowhere.
You're going nowhere. Okay. Is it .NET.exe or .bat? Which one is it? Do you know? Why can't we find .NET? I mean, come on. This shouldn't be this hard. There it is. Okay, so it's in program files .NET. So I want.
Oh, you think it's writing it there?
I wonder if it's doing it relative to the path of the .NET executable, because that's what's executing, because we're running it via DLL, right? I can't zoom in here either, which is super annoying. I can make the folders bigger, I guess. But I also don't know if that's the thing that's actually running or not. You know what I mean?
Well, you're running irrelevant to that path, so that will be 3 levels up, isn't it?
Yeah, which would be the root, which is not there. What on earth? Okay, well let's do this. I guess we'll do this the easier way, which is
explicitly.
Let's run this.
And
then open Task Manager and see where .NET is. So if you came here today looking for productivity tips on software engineering, our deepest apologies. Thoughts and prayers. .NET, where is it? .NET, okay, the .NET host, there are 2 of them. Open file location, it's exactly where we thought it was going to be, so that's not very useful.
Why do you not just do explicitly write the file to C, temp, or D, whatever you want to put it. There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
You're right. We're spending too much time messing around. Oh, I got
other questions. Yeah, you need to build first.
I got to rebuild. .NET build and oops.
There's some data.json file hanging around in JP's machine that he'll be wondering, like, how did this data get here 6 months down the line?
Is it semicolon to separate in PowerShell? Yeah, okay. Separate commands. Okay.
Yep.
Ran. Oh, and it moved.
There you go. Oh, I saw something. There you go.
Yep, there it is. 300 lines. Oh, because we're serializing the entire duration object, which we probably don't need to do.
Just the hours, isn't it?
Yeah. So we got our time. So let's just. Well, we can just. I mean, we could do seconds. We could do minutes. It doesn't really matter. We'll just pick one of them. Which one should we do?
That is stunning. So is the start time as a time offset, or is UTC?
It is an offset.
Okay.
We'll just do total seconds, although I don't think we'll have many events that are measured in just seconds, but whatever.
Wait, line 49, now you need to change it to add seconds to the start time. Isn't it?
I don't think so.
Does it matter? No? Okay.
Well, no, because we're still going to use the duration. We're just going to... The duration that we return, we will do just the seconds.
Okay. That's a weird thing to...
I don't think we'll actually need the duration in this data anyway, right?
No, we only need to calculate, right?
Yeah, because we've got the start time and end time.
There you go.
So we have the subject. We kind of don't need total seconds.
Nope.
We got location. That's all. I mean, this is the bare minimum that we need.
Yes.
For the other one. So let's just take duration out since we're going to do.
Is this what the website is expecting, more or less?
I don't know exactly what the website's expecting now because I haven't looked in a while, but right now, I don't know because there's the bot code. So the bot code, which is over here, is this it? Yeah. So one of the things in here is event calendar. It was actually just sending back the calendar view straight up.
Ah, okay.
So, but right now it's not even using this because right now it is, what is it doing right now? I don't know what it's doing right now. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know what the website's doing right now, but anyway, but this is good. We got a good head start. So now
we just need to store it somewhere.
Now we just need to store it somewhere. And this, I can close Visual Studio. Don't need that anymore. Good. Okay. So now the last thing we need to do in our console app is just push that somewhere, yeah?
Yep.
So let's go bring in 7,000 libraries.
No, you just need Azure Identity and you need the Azure storage. Oh, wait a minute. Blobs? Are you using blobs?
Yeah, let's just push that JSON file.
Yeah, so for that, there's a specific library called .NET. I think it's azure.storage.blobs, but do not quote me on that.
Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see in a sec.
Holy crap. I can't believe I remember that. Okay.
Fuel.NET package add star. I wonder what that would do. What does that do?
Nothing. It will say can't find it. No. Does it? No.
Oh, I did it the wrong direction. Oh my god. Oh, whew.
No,
I
good.
got a little nervous.
Gee, I just start enumerating everything from NuGet.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to go out and register a package with this name. Okay. So we have Azure Storage. So now we get into
credentials first and then instantiate your storage.
Hold on.
Ooh.
What the hell's going on? Who's calling me at work? And all these devices on my desk are now buzzing.
Todd.
No, it's a 980 number, so it's somebody local. You know what we ought to do? I want to know. Oh, now they're calling my cell phone. 980. We're going to see who they are. Name and shame. Yeah. 980, 880. I think we should all call them back. Like,
live on the show.
What do you need that you felt you needed to, let's see, 880-5362. I'm sure my car's warranty is, I'm sure it's my car's warranty. You know, that's a good idea, Bolt. We should have done that.
Or new Windows.
My boss doesn't live in the 980. 980-880-5362.
He could be proxying to throw a surprise.
It's possible. No, I don't know who it was, but, harassment involved. I need name and location if possible. Oh boy.
Oh.
They're probably telling me my car warranty is out of date. So it's okay.
Or you need new windows.
That's true. I could need new windows.
Gutters, windows, new pavement, driveway.
Okay, so cloud storage account dot parse, and we'll just use development storage for the moment.
Are you sure that's the way to do it? Because it's changed quite a bit.
Oh, I have no idea if this is still the way how to do it. I have not talked to blobs in 6 months, so.
Well, you need to open the docs.
So let's see, Azure Storage blobs, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Does not like that.
Nope.
So let's see, bstore, we'll call it, Azure.
Oh, maybe it was
storage.
Patrick confirming the appointment. Damn.
No, it's 2 o'clock. It's not 2 o'clock yet. It's 12:44. No, it's not 2. And if it was Patrick, he could leave a message.
True. That's a
And
very
this
good point.
person, this person has not left a message.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it is. It is reward season around here at Microsoft. So this is when we all find out our annual like bonuses and all that sort of stuff. And our boss is out of town until like September. And he's
Or
the one
whether
who
we
has
get to keep our
release
jobs,
them.
right? That's the
Yeah,
other
and
thing.
he's the one who has to release them to us. So everybody's anxiously sitting around wondering what on earth is going to happen. Okay, so we're gonna let's see. Yeah, you're right. I'm old and I'm using old stuff that I forgot about. So we're gonna use blob container client, and then we'll use development storage equals true. Let's get my storage emulator running, or Azurite, which I don't have yet.
Oh, you don't have Azurite?
I
Winget.
haven't-
Just
I
use
haven't
Winget.
installed it yet. Yeah, that's a
Winget.
good point. I could win get it, huh?
Aha.
Was it Azurite? Is that
Azurite
E
with
there,
an
is there?
I. Yeah.
No E in Azure.
Nope.
The thing I wonder is, how successful would Azure have been if it wasn't called Windows Azure in the very beginning? Look, it's not there.
What? I have it. Do I have it?
We have Storage Explorer and Storage Emulator. These are the only ones that WinGet. So looks like we're not installing it yet again today. Okay, create from connection string. Blob container client does not contain a definition for. Yeah, you're right. Let's go to the docs. Azure storage blob. I think the thing is, there's so much like ceremony. You know what I mean? So like, I just need to go write a file. I think that's kind of why I like functions, because their ceremony is a little bit less. But I don't know. It's just kind of annoying. Like, you got to go wire all this stuff up. Okay, so we got our storage account. Blah 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 blah. Okay, blob container client.
Yep.
Oh, you just create a new one. Okay. See, we've gotten trained that things aren't that easy. So blob. So we just do a new blob container client. And it needs a connection string. Use development storage equals true. And we need a container name, which I guess we'll call this calendar, or we'll call this event data. And then it's just a matter of, let's see, bstore. We'll create the container if it doesn't exist. And then upload text async. We'll call it data. Look at that. I love this. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, the new API is super clean.
Oh, wait. It doesn't have that. Upload blob async. I thought that seemed a little strange. Like, wait a minute. And then the blob is just that we're going to send up is, let's see, what is this expecting? Bytes. So we need our blob name, data.json. We need a stream of content. Now, can we get a stream out of the serializer? Can we serialize the stream?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I guess if nothing else, we could just, oh man, I feel like I'm going to be writing some really old code that everybody's going to make fun of me about. Granted, that hasn't stopped me all day. So,
You mean you're going to create a stream from text? Do you not need a bracket?
Oops. Oh, there's your single threaded apartment attribute.
Oh, that's insane.
I know, and I never do these right either. I always forget how to new up and manage streams. Okay, so stream reader. And then
I think you
guess
need a
we
bracket from on using, right?
Sorry?
Do you not need a bracket on using?
I don't think
Open
you need
bracket,
one
close
anymore.
bracket? Oh, do
I
you
don't
not?
think you need one anymore. I do not believe so. Okay.
So how does it know when to close the using?
The compiler knows. Because it's when it falls out of scope.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Phil Snabel is making some puns there. He says, I don't win get it.
I mean, when you give us stuff that's that good, I mean, how can we ignore it?
Mm-hmm. If you use without it, it will unload it after the method completes. Okay. So at the reader dot, well, what is he doing here?
There was an enhancement that was done relatively recently. I don't remember. Oh yeah. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, beginning with C#8, you can use the following alternative syntax for using that doesn't require braces.
Okay.
Lifetime of iDisposable is limited to a single method. You should declare and instantiate it in the using statement, blah, blah, blah.
Very nice. Okay. So at the end of the method, it will be disposed. I like it.
Yeah, the newer using statement syntax translates to similar code. I seem to remember reading about... that they would do that. The compiler would actually figure out when it was no longer used in the method and would queue it for disposal then, but I don't remember. I have to go back and look. But anyway, let's just run this and see what we get.
Like it.
So this should be... Oh, wait, we haven't authenticated, have we? Although we are going to Dev Store, so it doesn't really matter, but... Does my blob container client not need a credential? That seems a little suspect.
Yeah, well... It's using the connection string, and because you're using the connection string, it doesn't need it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Because if you were passing the connection string to live storage, it will contain the credentials, which is not good. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so it says it did something. So let's see. Now let's wait. Let's see if Storage Explorer opens before the show ends.
Well, there's an exception there.
Oh, there was.
Validate file handle. What did not like?
Oh, because I didn't give it. Oh, because I gave it a path, which obviously that's not going to work. So I have a string that I need to put into memory. I need to read as a stream. What are our other options, by the way, for storing blobs? Stream content or binary data content? I am not familiar with the stream binary data. So this gives us a string. So how do we go from... was it a text reader? Is that what we need, a text reader? Text reader.
And you're reading the string? Binary reader. Huh.
String reader, there we go. I just had the wrong one in there. It's all right.
Oh, wait a minute. It cannot serialize reader. Just reader. Oh. What does it want?
Well, it wants, let's see, string reader gives me a string reader, not a stream. I need a stream out of that, though.
What's the example that they have for, in the Azure SDKs, what they use?
I don't know. Let's go look. So this just creates a blob and then uploads from a path.
Local file. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to upload a file. I just want to upload the data I've got. Downloading. Let's see. Async. Azure Identity. Well, let's just read a. Let's see. Read a string with stream. Or I guess we could get the bytes for it. Maybe do I need a stream writer to write the string into the stream? Oh my god, what a circus.
You
Let's
know
see,
what?
so I need to
Convert a string into a stream, isn't it?
I think I have to read the string into the stream.
Yep.
Yeah, stream writer. Then we write it to the stream. We set the position back to the beginning, and then let's try.
God.
Let's try this binary data thing. I have not. Let's go see what the system binary data type is. So let's see. If we were to get the... Oh, no, we got to go in 6 minutes. We're almost out of time. What are we doing?
I know.
Okay.
We're having so much fun.
So we'll do our serialized data. So we want to...
Binary data equals serialized data to something, right?
Well, let's see. We'll do UTF-8, get bytes. Or no, sorry. How do we get the bytes? Comment out 57 through 64 and ship it. I'll just copy it. Control
Done.
C, Control V. Let's do keyboard automation and Control C, Control V this thing.
That's a very good idea. You just copy the JSON file and you go into your emulator. You open it with Storage Explorer, and you copy the file, paste the file.
I feel like my brain just is not working today.
You know you can find that in the
How do I
docs,
get
right?
how do I get bytes out of a string? I mean, God Almighty, get bytes from string. Converts a string into a byte array. Yeah. So am I not using the right? I must not be using the right encoding. No, you definitely cannot find my brain in the docs. And if you can, there are probably a bunch of comments on it about how useless it is.
It's not a string.getBytes.
There we go. This feels very inefficient, by the way. I'm just going to go ahead and call that out right now. It doesn't feel very good. So this is going to give me a byte array. So so then does that become system by binary data? Does that take a byte array?
Yeah.
How do we create a new one of these? Yeah, I guess it does take a byte array. So
you need to nice.
Okay, so then this feels like, I mean, I wonder if there's a serialize. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I wonder if there's a serialize option to serialize to a byte array instead, or first, or whatever, or serialize directly to a byte array. We don't need to write our file out anymore because we're going to upload it to blobs. So
Let's run this baby.
could we serialize to a string? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I need to stop. Okay, let's build and run and see what we get because we only have 3 minutes. I guess we kind of don't have 3. We can have as much time as we want, but
True. You need to open your Storage Explorer so you can see the file.
which apologies, I don't. Oh, this is Electron, so I can zoom this too. Okay, good.
Yeah, of course you can zoom in.
Storage accounts,
Emulator. Dun dun dun. The moment of truth. It's local. It should be fast.
I did build it. I did build it.
Yeah, you can build it. Yeah.
Notice
Build
I
and
have
run.
two commands now. Bolt,
He's been efficient.
.NET build semicolon, .NET run.
I think you can also do 2 ampersands.
I tried 2 ampersands, and that's a bash thing. It does not work. Okay,
Uh-oh.
event data.
Is that it? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's our container.
Cool.
Oh, excuse me.
And
Do I have to like triple click or something? Like, what is this? Ah, there we go. Oh, there it is. 2.2K. Good. Very good. So now we just need to pump this up to an Azure storage account. Then we'll go write some code to pull it back out of storage.
Yep.
and push it down the old chain.
Bob's your uncle.
So maybe we should. This is like a Rube Goldberg machine. It's so silly almost in itself. Uh-oh. Something's happened. Do you trust the author of the... Oh, no, please don't open... Oh, it's trying to open that blob. Oh, no. Okay, but there's our blob, and it's a good blob. It's an array. An array
It's
of
the blob
objects.
that we deserve.
It's the blob that we... It's the blob that's working as developed. So, okay, cool. Well, good. So we got our... So now I have to run this silly little tool as a scheduled task or something, because it's got to run when I'm logged in, because it's using my context, right? Or I can go create a VM, and I can go create a VM in Azure and join it to the domain, and then add my account.
No. Too far.
Let's just run this as a scheduled task. So,
yes.
I mean, the thing is, if we do it far enough out, and I do have a managed identity on my box bolt, so I could just use my local managed identity to push it up to Azure.
She's using Azure Arc.
Yeah, task scheduler.
I like how it's not a new Azure Arc, it's the old Azure Arc. When you have to define what, because the new Azure Arc, the latest Azure Arc supports web apps and other things that don't come with mass identity yet. Very important. It is coming if you are curious to test it. But for now,
yeah. So. The other thing we have to do then is we'll have to modify our code to use Azure AD instead of use development storage, obviously. But,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
I think we're like 90% there.
I guess.
You have very few changes to do. You just need to add a credential, and then you have to point to the live storage account, and that's it. 2 lines of code.
All right, so let's do git init.
Oh, you didn't add a git ignore.
I did. I just added
How?
one. .NET new git ignore.
So fast. By the way, that's the most awesome .NET command there. I wish you could do like .NET new git ignore for Node and other things. I wonder if does GitHub the CLI have a git ignore command? That would be super cool.
When you create a new repo with ghcreate, it asks you if you want to add anything to that repo first, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
So let's get this stuff in here. We'll just call this initial local commit. And is there any data in there that's sensitive? I don't think so.
Nope. Using create breakaway from job flag? What was that?
Signed commits, man.
Push. Oh, I see. Done. At the nick of time.
Right in the nick of time. So.
Right. Well, 2
that was
minutes.
kind of fun. Well.
Injury time. We've added injury time.
That's right. So I guess I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the calendar looks like this week, but we got to get this wrapped up. Hopefully wrap that up on Friday. We got our secret rotator that we need to wrap up.
Yes.
You've got some Next.js stuff, right?
I do indeed.
So yeah,
maybe next week we'll do the Next.js stuff.
Yeah, let's try to come back Friday. We'll wrap this up on Friday, hopefully. Of course, the Discord's always open. Feel free to drop in and hang out with everybody. It's been a little quiet these past couple weeks, I think, because everybody's been on vacation, but. It's good for us.
And it's good to have you back, all our friends. Thank you.
It's good to be back with everybody. So
yeah.
So anyway, come hang out with us in Discord. Come hang out with us on Twitter. Let's find somebody to raid. Where are we going today, Christos?
Mr. Fritz is running. Joel 561 is running. Code Rust is running.
So we just go to Jeff and keep the .NET theme.
Let's go to Jeff.
All right, let's go to Jeff.
Jeff.
I guess we're not.
Well, we'll see you on Friday. Oh, why?
Oh no, we're going. We're cool. About to. We got to stop streaming at the same time that Jeff streams because everybody goes and watches him.
Yeah, he's cooler than us.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what he's doing today. I'm going to make a guess and say Blazor.
Yes, He's been doing a lot of Blazer stuff. Oh no, you know what? He's showing a lot of C# stuff. C# 10.
Very nice. Well, let's go see what he's doing. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Stay safe,
Yep.
stay dry. We'll be back on Friday. Our IT Pro friends, I think, are going to be back tomorrow with somebody fresh. I'm not sure who. And in the interim, come and hang out with us on Discord. And we will see you all soon. Let's go raid our good friend Jeff. Have a great week, everybody. See ya.